All right, welcome back everyone to the Quill and Query podcast. My name is Brandon Hall. As always, I'm joined today by my wonderful co-host Ash. Ash, how are you doing today?
I've survived another Tuesday. How about you, Brandon?
I have also thankfully survived another Tuesday because we have a very special guest. So I'm glad to be here for her interview. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone, Gigi?
Hey, I am Gigi. I am an author here in Greenville, South Carolina. And my first book comes out next week on March 3rd, which I had Project Hail Mary right here, but I had to put my book here for this interview. So.
Yeah, well, it's good you have it in sight, so now everyone knows what it looks like when they go to look it up after the episode.
I was going to say Project Hail Mary is also in sight, yeah. But so is my book.
Yeah. So not to go off on a side tangent here, but there's a movie for Project Hail Mary, right? Did that come out already, or is that supposed to be upcoming? Because I meant to go see that. Now I feel like I missed it.
No, it's next month with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, glad to have you on today, Gigi. So, and super excited to talk about your debut, The Split. Also, as a fellow South Carolina resident, I feel like we're getting a lot of those lately. So very interesting. I didn't know we had such a focused group of writers here. So it's nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of in Greenville specifically, honestly.
That's so cool.
Which has been really nice.
Yeah. Is it like a mixed bag mostly, or is it like, do you find it more like women fantasy writers? Like what's our...
No, it's a completely mixed bag. I would say I haven't actually met a lot of fantasy writers. Mostly I have some friends I have a friend who's writing a rom-com. I have one who just came out with a sort of women's fiction. One is an essayist, and I know a lot of various poets. So it's definitely a mixed bag.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I have met a few poets. My sister writes a lot of poetry, so she navigates those circles a fair bit. But yeah, very cool. All right. Well, I think before we get into the questions about your debut, which, by the way, that comes out next week, right? And I think a week from today, March 3rd, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly a week, March 3rd,
Okay,
which
cool.
I know, I'm so excited. I said it, my birthday, my 30th birthday is actually April 3rd. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to publish a book before I turned 30. So it's exactly a month before. I'm very excited about that.
That's excellent. That's yeah. So exciting.
All right. Well, before we get into all the interview questions, we like to start with a little bit of an icebreaker. So my favorite one to go with is just what are you reading, watching, playing lately? Sometimes we get a lot of gamers on here too. So what are you up to besides writing? What are you consuming these days?
Awesome. Well, I will say that my husband's in the other room playing Dark Souls right now. And so he's like, you might hear me yell and drop a few F-bombs. And I said, okay, all right, I understand. So I have my office door closed. And then let's see. So, and then him and I are actually watching Rings of Power. We had never watched, which is the Lord of the Rings TV show. We're on the second season. Absolutely loving it. I know there was some controversy, but if you give me a television show or a movie with like a pretty setting, then I don't really care about the rest. As long as it looks visually stunning, then I'm like, okay, I'm here for it. And people will say, oh, the story's bad. And I'm like, but look, there's pretty trees. And then I am currently rereading one of my old favorite series from high school, which is the Vampire Academy series.
Oh,
I don't know.
Wow, what a throwback.
A huge throwback. I still have my books from when I was a kid, and they're like yellowing pages. But I needed something that just filled me with nostalgia and made me feel good. So I'm on the fourth book now of my reread. It's been going really well.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We love those comfort reads. I'm kind of comfort read adjacent at the moment. It's a book by George R. R. Martin that I actually haven't read.
Oh.
So familiar territory, just not one that I've read. It's the Night of the Seven Kingdoms novella collection.
Okay. The show, right?
Yeah.
So I did watch the show finally. I loved it.
So
I'm a
good.
big Martin fan though, so a little biased, but I do think it was one of the better adaptations of his work. And
Oh yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts on spoilers that I don't want to share just because it's super early days still. I know some people still haven't caught up, but Ashley, you were watching the show as well, right?
We actually caught up on the season finale last night, and I was sad to see everyone go, like, to end the season kind of a thing, but also was like, what's gonna happen next? So it's just so I really loved everyone's dynamic. I thought it was great. It just felt a little different from Game of Thrones, not even in the
like lighter, right?
Lighter, which is I think was like the whole point. It's supposed to be like a novella, like a little bit more lighthearted, but even like the politics just seemed more less doom and gloom, even though there's still that, and more like hopeful. But it did make us really excited for the next season of the House of the Dragon. So we have to start rewatching that soon for the anticipation of June.
I think they just dropped the season 3 trailer for that. Which if they're going, so I wasn't the biggest fan of season 2 just for certain departures from the books, but the season 3 trailer does have me excited for some of the events that I think I saw there. So I'll definitely be returning for season 3.
Much bleaker. Got to get into like the dark vibe again. Did you watch it,
definitely.
Gigi? Have you watched this?
Yes, but I haven't seen the trailer, so now I'm like, this is what I'm doing immediately after we hang up.
No, you should absolutely just go right to YouTube and just be like, all right, here we go.
Cool.
The Discord that I'm in for like a Song of Ice and Fire related stuff is usually pretty on top of the announcent, so it's like 2 minutes after it's out, I usually get like a
here we go.
Did you see the trailer yet? No, I'm working. It's
no, I have children or something else. I can't get to it right now. Everyone quiet.
All right. Well, glad to hear everyone is enjoying the recent foray into Westeros, and with many more to come. But I think we can go ahead and dive right into the questions and about your debut, Gigi. Sorry, I was looking over at our notes here. So before we kind of talk about the split, just tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know you said a little bit at the beginning, but the split is going to be your debut, correct? So do you have any other published works outside of that? Short stories, anything like that?
I don't. No. I'm one of those people that I'm sure all writers say this, but I've written since ever could write. And so I have a stack of books on my computer that just that went unpublished from when I could type, etc. But no, I've never had anything published, not no short stories or poetry or anything. This is my very first piece that's going to be out in the world. So
how's that feel?
It's pretty cool. It feels crazy. I can't explain it. It's like the scariest thing in the world because you put your entire heart and soul into something for years, and then to have it be so easily judged by other people, which is part of it, it's really scary. You know, you're gonna have people that love it and people that don't love it. I had an ARC review team, so I was able to send it out to advanced readers, early copies, and I've, for the most part, gotten really, really good feedback, but then, you know, you're hit with the feedback that isn't so good, which hurts the soul, but it's art. Art is meant to be, not everyone's gonna love it, so. Yeah. That's all to say is I'm really excited. This is my first book.
You should be. Well, you mentioned that you have many unpublished works on your computer, so give us a little bit of a background. It sounds like you've always been a writer in your spare time. What got you into it? What started this love of the game?
Okay, so I'll tell you 2 things. The first is that I still have a notebook from a child where I wrote a story about my brother being a Jedi. And so I will say that, like, the Star Wars universe has kind of always inspired me. I've always loved, like, the action and adventure and science fiction. And so then when I was in high school, I wrote a book about a zombie apocalypse, and they started. This girl went to an academy to learn how to fight the zombies. So that was my first foray into zombie fiction. I've always had a thing for zombies. I really can't tell you why.
I'm sensing a recurring theme.
Love them. And then when I was in college, in my creative writing class, I wrote a book about, or not a book, I'm sorry, a short story about another apocalyptic event with cannibals. So these like dark themes have always been really interesting to me. I've written a lot, mostly in the dystopian genre. I just think that's what I have the most fun doing, is like world building, and envisioning perhaps a bit of light in really bleak settings, but then also lots of death and killing and things like that, because I think that's fun to write.
Gotta have balance, you know?
You really do, right? And then I think what had like inspired the split a lot was between like The Walking Dead, and I think of you can think of Lord of the Rings, even you can think of my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, The Last of Us. There's all of these epic stories and adventures, but not a lot of them have a female protagonist. And so I felt like that was, for me, something that was missing. Like, I love these stories, but they weren't written for me. And so I wanted to have that backdrop, that apocalyptic backdrop, but then with a female character that I could relate to.
Yeah, I love that.
That's my spiel.
I love it. I think we talk about it kind of every now and then on the pod about writing the story for yourself, which becomes like so interesting because then your characters are not you, but then you think about them and then you think about the story you want to write. So it's cool that you saw kind of like a niche and wanted to fill that yourself. So I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I have to ask, as a zombie fan, because I was going to ask what has instilled the love of the undead in you. You cited The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. Are you have you watched the recent 28 Years Later films, or are you not caught up?
I have it on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think you might enjoy those. Well, if just judging by your love of zombies, I think you'll love them. Okay. I'm someone who personally, not anything against the split or anything, but I tend to steer away from zombies for the most part, unless I'm like really grabbed by an interesting story or character dynamic or anything along those lines. So I wouldn't say like I dislike zombies. I just think it's harder for me to get into it, and I still really enjoyed the 28 Years Later movies that just came out, both of them. So to say, yeah.
Sorry, Brandon, I cut you off. Continue. Finish.
I was just all that to say. I think you'll probably love them, but if I'm going off of your previous examples there.
Yeah,
cool.
Go ahead, Gigi. Sorry, I keep interrupting everybody today.
No.
Like,
I was just please. I want to hear what you have to say.
I was just gonna interject and say zombies scare the actual bejesus out of me. Like, it's like one of those irrational kid fears, I guess, that I have. But I love watching zombie movies and like zombie shows. And I loved like 28 Days Later and then 28 Weeks Later. And I just like the fact that Ralph Fiennes is in a new 28 whatever themed thing. It's just like so cool. But zombies for so long have just like had such a cultural grab in our society, especially in like the dystopian sphere, and I just like don't think it'll ever go away, really. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't.
I hope not.
Yeah, I think it's just a thing.
I'm thinking of two more. Okay, Zombieland, both of them,
so good.
By the way, so good. And then World War Z with Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah.
That is one that I feel like, which is a book as well, but it does something different, which I think is really interesting. It's not the typical apocalyptic thing, but it has its own spin on it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Loving the discussion about zombie movies. This is not an area we usually get into on the podcast. So
let's keep it up. We're talking about zombie movies all day long.
Well, I'm going to shift away from zombie movies just a little bit here. You said you've been writing for a long time. So tell us a little bit about what a typical writing day looks for you. Like, what is your process like? Are you someone who's got like a very strict regimen, or are you a little more loose with, when it comes to sit down and shape your stories?
Yeah. Okay. So I work, as probably a lot of authors trying to make it do. I work full time. And so that's to say, is I don't have, all day, unfortunately, to sit down and just type, 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 type. So I'm pretty disciplined. I wake up early in the morning, about 5:30, and I will write before work starts. Um, Sometimes that looks really productive and I get a few pages in, and sometimes that looks like me staring at a sentence and just deleting a period 25 times.
Yeah.
And then I will say that's my dedicated daily time. Very occasionally I will write, like if my husband goes out of town for a job or something, which he sometimes does. I'll say, okay, I'm not spending time with him tonight. I'm gonna write. So sometimes after work, that'll happen. And then I actually am really fortunate, which is where most of my work gets done, is I have a group of me plus three girlfriends who once a week, sometimes twice a week, will come over to my house. It's always my house. I love hosting, which is weird because I hate socializing, but I love hosting. And so they come over to my house and we sit down for 1 to 2 hours and we just type collectively. Mm-hmm. And I find that being surrounded by other people forced to do the same thing as you is so good for accountability. And that's when I'm just really able to crank words out. And so, yeah, we'll either do that on a weeknight or a weekend. If we do it like on a Sunday, typically we can spend closer to 2 hours together. And, it might not sound like that long of a period, but if you're able to just lock in, then you're able to get words down, I find.
I think there was like something that came out recently, and I'm blanking on it, but there was like there's a rise in people doing tasks that they've taken forever to get done together. Cool. And like setting a time and a date that like everyone, you send those emails, you do your whatever, like your finances and things like that. And it just the profound effect of just doing something at the same time with other people who are also having to concentrate.
Yeah.
It's like, especially post-college, I forgot how much I missed going to the library and doing work in like a space like library. That. Yeah. You just forget that that's actually really important, and a quiet space like a home is definitely more helpful. I like going to a coffee shop. We have like a local spot that we love, but sometimes it can get distracting and then you're just talking to your neighbor and whatever, it kind of goes on forever. But I love that you have like a dedicated set of people in real life. I know it's helpful sometimes to do it digitally, like on Discord and things like that, and I certainly do that a lot, but yeah, it's nice to do it physically in real life.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, it's like you can't sit there next to somebody and say, oh, I'm going to pick up my phone and scroll on Instagram, because you want to like almost impress them with your concentration.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, it keeps you locked in. And I didn't mention this as well, which I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts, is a lot of people, I think, love quote unquote writing sprints where you'll sit down for 20 minutes at a time, write, take a break, write. For me, I find that I'm much more productive if I can sit down for like an hour or 2 hours. The sprinting gets me out of that flow state.
What do you think, Brandon?
I don't know.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same camp. I can't do like long tasks over short periods of time like that. So I don't like to break down like writing into 20 or 30 minute sessions. I like to have at least an hour. Same goes for like a lot of other things I do too, though. Like sometimes I'll have like 30 minutes of free time and my girlfriend will say like, just play a game or something. I don't want to sit down and play a game for 30 minutes. I want like an hour to do that. Yeah. I'm not I can't I'm not someone who can like hyper focus in on those 20-30 minute sessions, unfortunately. I wish I could, but that applies to a lot of things that I do, unfortunately. So what about you, Ash?
I actually flip-flop. Especially on days just like UGG and Brandon as well, like we all have full-time jobs and I'm less of a morning person, and so I often like right after this I'll probably go downstairs and write for like an hour. But
cool.
Sometimes the 20 to 30 minute sprints on days where my brain is absolutely dead help me just know that I've done at least 20 minutes of work or 30 minutes of work. So sometimes it's nice with my writing partner to get on and just be like, we only have 40 minutes. We chat for 20 and then we write for 20 and then that's it. And we can at least say like we got something done. But I'm also the same way. It's like once I lock in, I'm like, oh, an hour and a half has gone by and I'm like, whoa. And then I resurface and take a breath and go back down. So yeah, it just depends on kind of where my mental headspace is at, but totally understand the need to sit and do it for a longer period of time to reach the flow state of writing. Yeah.
Yeah. I also have yet to attend one of these productivity parties that I keep hearing about, but it could be very useful.
Yeah, productivity parties. Maybe we should all do that. Yeah.
All right. Ash, I'll let you pick the next question. I feel like I took a few of them.
So I know we've kind of talked about movies and film and things like that have inspired you, but were there any books, like you mentioned, really being into Vampire Academy, right? Or what? That's what you said? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So like talk to us about the books that inspired you growing up. They don't even have to be dystopian, but if they are, even better. But yeah, like what were you reading as a kid that kept you writing in the space?
Well, I was thinking about, because I saw you guys sent over the prep doc, and so I saw this question and I'm like, I wonder how many people say Harry Potter. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta be that person again, right?
Yeah. Yes, you do. Because I'm the same way. Harry Potter was such a informative,
so sorry.
Yeah.
We're just like at that age, that demographic where Harry Potter was life. But beyond that, I used to be, I would say, ashamed is maybe a strong of a word, but embarrassed. That's the right word for it. I was embarrassed about the types of books I was interested in and the types of books that inspired me and made me really imagine. Luckily I'm not anymore. And so
we love to hear that.
So I will say I still have all of my copies. Anything by Cassandra Clare has really inspired me. So she wrote The Mortal Instruments and all of the, like, I think there's almost 20 books. And the way that she is able to write so lyrically, but then also give her characters very unique personalities, to me is very inspiring. And then her worlds are so interesting and deep as well. And then I'll say Vampire Academy, obviously. Hello. I actually was showing my friend this book. I'm gonna grab it because it's lesser known, but this author, I think she's only written this trilogy, and it is like one of my favorites. I think about it all the time. This girl is a gene hacker, and then there is this disease that makes everybody blow up when you get it. Like you start to get these like red speckles across your body, and then 2 weeks into it, you just so yeah. So and then I wanted to also mention as well, one of my favorite authors, Rachel Harrison, who writes, I would say, like horror comedy, and her voice is so distinct, and her protagonists are always like, you read the first page and you understand who they are immediately. And she is also she's a young author, so for me, and maybe she's in her 30s or something like that, it's inspiring to see somebody so successful doing her thing, like doing her weird genre. Yeah, I think that's all I gotta say about that.
It's a good variety. I like how not just one niche. Unlike me, I'm like always like fantasy. That's all I'm into. But yeah.
Well, okay. What's your favorite fantasy at the moment? Because it's probably always changing.
That's a good question. I just read one called Weaving Shaw. Really liked that one. It's less fantasy. There is a fantasy element to it, but it's more of like an alternate England with like demons involved. That's been really good. But Holly Black is my go-to. When you said Cassandra Clare, I was like, oh yeah, because like they're best friends in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But Holly Black's like urban fantasy stuff is always good. There always just has to be like a fantasy element to my stuff, and I think Brandon's very similar. But Brandon's way more into sci-fi than I am in particular, so that's where we diverge a little bit.
Yeah, I do like my sci-fi if it's if it's done well.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, I was creeping on your Instagram, actually, and you had posted a picture about The Devils by Joe Abercrombie.
Yeah.
And that cover was on my mood board for the split, because I am obsessed. I don't know if the book is any good, but the cover is great.
That's awesome.
It's probably one of my favorite recent covers in fantasy. It's great. Cool. Yeah. The book is great, too. If I would honestly, it's probably the best entry point for Abercrombie if you haven't read any of his stuff.
Okay.
I would say that's probably the best thing to start with now, just because it's the most easy to get into, and it's just a single book at the moment, so it's not a long commitment like his other series.
Add it to the TBR.
Yeah.
It's already on my TBR.
Already on there.
Honest.
Bump it up. Bump it up to the top of the TBR.
Bump it, baby.
Bump it up.
All right. Well, we talked a little bit about what a typical writing day looks like for you. I like to ask everybody this question, and it's what are some of your favorite or least favorite parts of the process? It seems like everyone differs a little bit here. Some people enjoy different parts of it. So I wanted to hear from you, Gigi.
Yeah. I think revising is 1,000 times easier than drafting. And this is, I shouldn't do this, but a lot of times when I draft, I just think this is stupid. I'm writing something stupid. My language is terrible, which isn't true, because a lot of times I'll come back to my first draft and I'll go, oh, that is way better than I thought it was, and the trash heap I thought it was. And a lot of times it is a trash heap, but it has to be, because for me visually, I always think of like a lump of clay. And you're like, oh, this is a lump of clay. But with a little bit of work, it turns into a beautiful sculpture. And had you not had that clay, you could not create a sculpture. And so for me, drafting is hard because I have to get past this mental block of me thinking that it's all complete shit. And when I'm able to push past that block and just write, I can be really productive. But that is hard for me to do. And then revising, I think language is just so fun to play with that when I have these sentences that I can just start to manipulate, it becomes a lot more fun, and I become a lot more proud of the product. And so that's to say, I think perhaps line editing is more fun for me than developmental editing, because as many writers do, I hate deleting, even though it's necessary.
Yes.
But so yeah, I think that's my answer.
Yeah, I was. It's funny that you mentioned that right after the Abercrombie stuff, because there's this quote by him. I was trying to find it because it's quite funny from someone who's such a successful author. He also hates the first draft process, and I forget the exact quote, but it's something like, I would literally rather gouge my eyes out than write first drafts, but I have
to. I feel that way.
Yeah, he says it's like the most miserable part for him, and I can definitely relate to that as well, because I work a lot better with a sentence that already exists. Like, I can identify where it's not working too well and what needs to change. It's very hard to just create the sentence to begin with. At least for me. Yeah.
No, the creation process is so hard, and we both, very much commiserate on like is this even a good plot point? Is it a good sentence? Is it good? What is this? And you can tell some days, at least for me, when I'm in such a better writing headspace than when I'm not. And I have to like physically stop myself from editing along the way. Like I have to I have to actually just like put my hand down and be like, no, just keep going. It's so hard. It's really hard. But then it is fun when you go back and reread and you're like, damn, that was actually a really good sentence.
Like, oh, she did something there. Yeah.
Okay, girl. So, yeah, I think that I would agree with you there that, like, the drafting process is so daunting. And I get, like, scared. Like, when I don't know what I'm supposed to do next in the storyline, like, there's obviously like, a chunk of time that needs to be either filled or explained or something.
Yeah.
And I haven't narrowed something down yet. It's so, like, what if I get this wrong? And then you have to be like, no, but you're making it up, so it can't be wrong if you're making it up. No. Yeah.
This is your story.
Exactly.
I remember one of my scenes, I was, it was for the split, and I was writing it, and I was like, I'm kind of getting bored, like, where this is going. And then I went, what if I just made something blow up? And so I just made something blow up, and it was so fun, and it just changed the plot. So it's like... You know?
Yeah. I think, wasn't it Jeffrey? He had so many good little tidbits of stuff, or I can't remember who it was, so sorry if I misattribute this phrase, but it was like, what if? Like, if you keep playing, like, what if this happened instead? Or what if this happened? And I've actually been putting that into practice a lot lately. Just like, what if instead of doing that, she blows up, you know, or whatever.
Oh, I love that. Actually, that's a really fun idea. Yeah. I think I might use that tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just nice to remind yourself it's like, yeah, you are the crafter of whatever you choose to write, you know? So
yeah. There's a lot of freedom in that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Jeffrey who had the power of what if, because it was a clip that we have on YouTube for anyone who wants to go back and listen to that. So
yeah, that was a good interview. Yours is also so far excellent, Gigi, but he had a lot of good, really like little quips like that where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna run with that. So yeah,
awesome.
All right, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm so sorry, I have to interrupt and tell you that there is a cat treat on the ground. If anybody's been staring at the floor wondering, it's full of catnip, and it's a little mouse.
I didn't even notice, but now I see it. That's okay.
Thanks for letting me just air that dirty laundry.
Like, I'm glad we got that clarification out there. Yeah. I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out.
I know. I just had
all I could see.
You're like, guys, this is a toy. It's nothing else. It's nothing strange. I don't think we would have judged you anyway, even if it wasn't a cat toy. We would have just not even noticed. Okay, so we're gonna move on a little bit. So what were your experiences like publishing with a small press? And do you have any insights or advice for authors exploring a similar path to yours?
All right, so I have to be fully honest with you. I am the small press.
We love a multi-talented woman.
Yeah. So, well, if you're indie publishing, and you want to make your book appear more, just give it more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Credentials, an illusion of credentials. Form an LLC, make a publishing house, and slap that on your book. So, I will say that I started my writing process or publishing process hoping to query, or excuse me, I was querying. I was hoping to get agented, and get traditionally published. Didn't go so well.
Do you mind if I interrupt and ask how long you queried for?
No. So I started querying in June, and I want to say maybe until September
of 2025.
Yep, 2025. Okay. So not super long. But I got all rejections, no requests, which hurt the heart. But it gave me a few things. It gave me a blurb. So my query letter ended up turning into my blurb.
Love that.
It also showed me that I wanted to put the creative and marketing process in my own hands, as well as the timeline. So by day, I'm a marketer, and I had always said, I want to go traditional so that I don't have to do any of the marketing, because I do marketing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I flipped that notion on its head and said, but I can do all of the marketing. And this way I can control the cover design, which is really cool and important. And like one of the best parts of the publishing process is to design a cover. It allowed me to control my timeline, the editing process, and then have the full reins on the marketing as well. So the rejection showed me opportunity, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I did reach out to one small publisher in South Carolina, Hub City Press. Brandon, I don't know if you've heard of them.
No,
they're
I'm
in
not familiar.
Spartanburg. They're great, but I knew it was such a long shot because they have a very niche down types of books that they represent, and my book didn't fit into it. The only way that it could have is because it's set in South Carolina, but still, it was just a mismatch. So in any case, I self-published under Gilly Publishing, and it's been nothing but great so far. I have 34 reviews now before publication, which feels really good.
That's awesome.
I've made a lot of, thank you. I've done a lot of pre-order sales. I have events coming up in person and awesome online events like this one. And I'm getting to do a signing at my local Barnes & Noble. So I'm sharing all that to say, like, indie publishing can be a real success if you put in the effort and like believe in your book, you know? Yeah. So I didn't answer your question, I don't think.
No, that's actually really great. I think that's really cool because it's an interesting, we don't get that very often. We either have people go like fully just like self-publish and do it their own way without like a press, and the fact that you've done like both is really neat. How much heavy lifting at the beginning was there to kind of building yours? Because I know the LLC kind of, it's relatively easy, but like the back end stuff of like really trying to, were you marketing as you were writing? Like talk to us about the kind of workflow in that regard of marketing yourself.
So I'll actually go back a little bit further. I hired a really great editing company called Enchanted Ink Publishing, and they are like the best editors in the game. So I had my book professionally line edited. I also hired a professional proofreader because to see a typo in a book to me kind of diminishes the quality. And then I hired a professional cover designer as well because I wanted the book to look and feel as high quality as possible. Once I got that cover design is when I was able to start marketing it, right? So doing a cover reveal, starting to build my email list, because for an author, building an email list is one of your best marketing tools. It's old school, but people convert via email, meaning people are more likely to buy your book if they subscribe to you via email. There's just this personal relationship there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And started marketing. My primary platform, I will say, is Instagram. And I think that's going to vary for every author. Some people love TikTok. I don't. Some people love YouTube, like podcasting and things like that. You just kind of have to find your platform. And what else have I done? Started getting, created a NetGalley account, which is to get advanced readers.
I'm addicted to NetGalley. I have to like put a governor on myself. I'm like,
too. It's crazy.
A few at a time.
It's crazy. And goodness, what was the other thing? Oh, and then advertising. So digital ads. I have prepared campaigns for those to really try to sell the book. And I think for me, I'm expecting most of my sales will come from Kindle Unlimited, because Kindle Unlimited pays you per page count. And so the more pages read, the more you get paid. And Kindle Unlimited is kind of a no-brainer for people to get introduced to debut authors because they're already paying $10 a month for the service, but they get your book for free. So that's a little bit about the marketing behind it. Did I answer any of your questions?
No, that's you answered it in the way you needed to answer it. I think that's really valuable info. We've never really had someone who is also in the daytime a marketer, so it's super interesting. Yeah.
It's been honestly like I was annoyed at first that I would have to do it, but it's been so fun. Like creating my website and making pretty images and writing copy. It's been more fun than I could have imagined. And for anybody who is thinking of doing a similar thing, like it can be really daunting, the amount of stuff that you have to do, but just the same goes for writing. Just try to enjoy the process. Like let your creativity kind of blossom. I don't know.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do want to circle back to something that you mentioned that I feel like a lot of indie authors don't even think of as an option is the making your own LLC because it not only is it good for liability purposes, it does open up a lot more options to you. Also, there are a lot of tax benefits. You can write things off.
That's why I did it.
You're like, I'm going to be smart about this.
Yes.
I actually did one for the anthology, so it's under my publishing LLC is Trove Publishing, and I liked the idea of doing that because it would give me the opportunity to do more anthologies in the future and work with other people as well. So I'm really glad you shared that because I feel like not a lot of authors are aware that you can do that.
Could do that, yeah.
Oh yeah, you can just do about anything you want to do. But so the other thing that's cool is one of my best friends, she owns a business called Swoon Booksellers, and it's this pink truck that drives around town, and the pink truck is full of books. So the exterior has shelves built on it. Cool. And then she sells romance books. So one of our dream ideas is to start an imprint with this Gilly Publishing, and to be able to sell, or onboard different authors and sell books that are under our own imprint, all within this romance subgenre, because that matches what she does for her business. And so I think that would be like the coolest thing ever. That's and we already have the LLC for it, so we might as well.
Yeah. No, I love that so much. We also just like don't ever really hear from people often about like obviously the books, the book selling, the authorship concept, but like then taking it almost into this is gonna sound bad, but like the real world, like the physical benefits of having that is we don't hear much. We also everyone hates marketing. Like everyone hates it. Anytime we get someone on here, they're like the worst part is marketing. I mean, I'm generalizing, but I like the fresh take that marketing can be fun too. So
yeah, you know what? Okay, I actually have one more fun thing. One of the coolest things about doing your own marketing is you can hire illustrators. So I found the most talented girl on Instagram. It's MOSSILLUSTRA, Moss Illustra. I don't know. But look her up if you can remember all that and type it into your Instagram. But she does digital art, and I had her design my two protagonists, my male lead and my female lead. And it, for me, whenever I stop feeling inspired by my book, I literally just look at this image and get re-inspired. And yeah, I would say commissioning an artist, if you're able to do it, makes the marketing a lot of fun, because then you can use, like, you can make your own prints to sell at book fairs. You can use it in your Facebook ads, all of this stuff. So yeah, that was just another little piece.
Yeah, I don't even have a full manuscript, and I already hired a couple of years ago one of my favorite artists to do that, because I was just like, I just need them. I just need them watching over me at all times.
And it feels like seeing them. You're like, yes, this is them.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
I do agree. It does do wonders for inspiration. I do have some. I have commissioned artists before to help me with things. One of them did my profile picture.
Oh, really? Cool. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, because I didn't like the picture I had before. It wasn't accurate to how I look today, so I had to get. But I wanted something like fantasy-esque, so I went with that illustrator. But yeah, if you have like a picture of your characters that you commissioned, you can just look at it. Like I don't know, something about it.
Yeah,
makes sense. And there's something about like artists supporting other artists that just feels really good. It's like we're all in this community together. The more we can support one another's like true creativity, I think, especially like in the world of AI, it just does wonders.
Yeah. So like Ash mentioned, a lot of the authors we interview typically don't like the marketing process. So I know you talked a little bit about, some of the things you like about it and some of the positives there, but has your being a marketer for your day job, has that brought any unique insights that you'd like to share with those who maybe dislike the marketing process, but are looking for some tips?
I would say, okay, so being a marketer, like it obviously helps me on the technical side of things. So being able to develop a website, create ads, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think you don't even have to have these capabilities. You just have to be authentic. And I know that sounds maybe silly, but I think if you're sharing a post on Instagram and it feels like you, and it feels like you genuinely are so excited about sharing your story, that is going to come across to people and get more engagement and interaction that way, rather than, again, for example, like posting an AI generated video of 2 characters. Like people are going to see right through that. So I would say just start by simply posting what makes you passionate, and being genuinely yourself. Yeah. I don't know that I have much more to add.
I have a follow-up question. Are hashtags even relevant anymore for the marketing sphere?
They're literally not. Stop using hashtags.
Got it. Because I'm like such an old school. I'm really bad at my own writing Instagram, which like never post. But like anytime I do, I'm always like hashtag. I guess does this even matter anymore?
I know. Yeah. Okay, so the algorithm is smarter than us. Yeah. All right. So they understand like the technology can read your caption, look at your picture, understand what you're posting, feed it to other people. The hashtags, the Instagram, I can't remember his name, but the chief of Instagram came out and was like, guys, these really are, they don't matter anymore.
Stop using
hashtags. Well, and then I've run experiments too, where I've done like a post with hashtags and a post without, and the post without will do 20 times better.
Really?
It's really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So give it a shot. Let me know how it goes for you. But I think you're good not using them.
Okay. Cool.
I might test this on some of our Quill and Query clip uploads. See how that goes.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will say though, that caveat is for Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't speak to like TikTok. TikTok's its own thing.
Yeah.
I think TikTok is probably smarter than any of these other algorithms. But yeah, take that with a grain of salt for that.
Good to know. We'll test. We'll do some more tests ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Ash, did you want to take the next question?
Yeah, I think we've touched on it. We've mentioned it a few times, but AI always comes up in our conversations, and we've had some episodes specifically about AI, and I can kind of gauge already, I think, what your answer is going to be. But what are your thoughts on AI in the writer space, in the marketing space? Just you can wax poetic about it.
Okay, well, I don't think AI has any place in the creative world. I think the word creative, it just proves what AI is not, right? Creative is like what is born from your imagination, what is born from your soul, and like what are you I think, okay, let me go back to my sculpture analogy, right?
Yes.
Like you are immediately, if you're using AI, you're skipping from idea to final product. You're like not going through this blob of clay, let me refine and create mess. You're just going input, output. And that eliminates this big chunk there, which is the creative process. Which the creative process is hard and it's tiring, but it's also invigorating and the most like satisfying thing you will ever do. It's your human brain. And so I think when you take the human brain out of it, you can't call it art anymore. And I think for me, like fiction is art, poetry is art. If you're using AI to generate books, you're not creating art, you're creating garbage. And then I just think like in terms of generating images, people can just see through it. Obviously the technology is getting better day by day, but I've come across so many AI generated videos and images on my Instagram that just look like complete trash. Versus if you see, again, an illustrator who is putting their time and energy and talent into designing something with their pen or their tablet or whatever, you just it's so much more emotional. Like you can look at it and feel something. So that's, yeah, I just don't, I think it's unfortunate that people aren't able to utilize their own internal creativity and like push through the hard parts of the creative process. Yeah, that's my take on it.
No, I think that's a very valuable reminder that like the struggle is a part of the process. And I know some people who will argue, well, you know, the things you read, your experiences, they're not so unique. Like a lot of other people also have very similar experiences or have read the same things. So just like AI, which has a lot of inputs and like what it learns from, right? Like it is just doing the same thing that we do. But I think you're right about like the work component, right? Like that there is something so human about struggling and like staring at your computer for hours or just deleting the you know paragraph over and over again until you get it right. So yeah, I don't think we haven't talked about it from the craft perspective in that way. A lot of the times we're just like, we've mentioned it before for sure, but it is the challenge component of it, I think is, yeah, that's always a good reminder.
I think it's also like, I don't write to sell books. Like I write because I have to write, like because I want to write.
Yeah.
And so I think people that are using AI to write stories, they don't want to write. They just want to try to sell a book.
Yeah. It's like a for profit, just churning out of,
And listen, you're not going to get rich off of selling books. Let's be honest, people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the topic of the grueling creative process that is writing, during this process of writing and marketing your debut, are there any lessons or takeaways that you've come away with that you're going to apply to maybe your next work, or that you'd like to share with other authors working on their debuts?
Yeah, actually, I think get feedback early. So perhaps even earlier than you're comfortable with. So I started sharing feedback, or I started looking for feedback from critique partners. I would say like second draft, just because for me, first draft, that needs to stay with me and only me.
Yeah. That's private.
But you know, like before draft 5, because you get to draft 5 and you're like, I've spent hundreds of hours pouring into this novel, and then you get feedback that's like, oh my god, I didn't even see that. I didn't even notice that the character's toe was missing for 5 chapters. And now I have to rework the next, like, half of the book. So getting other people's eyes on your work early is able to spot these plot issues, character issues way earlier than you would have, just because you're so close to the work. And so when I was writing this book, I was in a big writing collective, is if you want to call it that, where myself and a group of 5 other people would read each other's work and share feedback. So I was getting feedback from like 5 different people. And I'm not saying that you need 5 different people's feedback. I don't think that's possible always, but at least find like one good critique partner to give you feedback early. And just know that like it's going to hurt when they do have hard things to say, but they're also going to praise you for like the amazing things that you're doing, because your work is always going to have amazing things. Some people are going to write really beautiful prose. Some people are going to have like characters that jump out on the page. Whatever it is, I think every author, even if it's your first book, like you have special sauce, your critique partners are going to help you find that. And they're also going to help you find things that you're not going to want to publish your book not knowing that like it had a big mistake. So yeah, I am working on the sequel to my book now, and I am only like 30,000 words into it, but as soon as I'm done with draft, I'm going to say 1.5, to be honest with you, because the person that I'm sharing it with, I'm really, really comfortable with. So I'm comfortable with her seeing sloppy work. Not sloppy, that's a bad word for it. Unfinished work. Unrefined work.
Yeah.
She'll see that, and she'll help me sort of like tailor it developmentally where it needs to be. So.
Yeah. I love that. I'm a huge proponent of sharing early for that exact reason. I think it's super important also to just like practice really early, like you were saying, like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable with people's feedback. And yeah, you'd be surprised at what people have to offer. It's like, people are good at giving feedback, but my therapist, Paula, shout out to Paula, is like, you need
love
to
you,
start.
Paula, girl.
Love you, Paula. She's almost always now like, who have you shared stuff with? Like, who did you share with this week? It's like a good, just a good practice to not only opening yourself up to criticism constructively, but also just like talking about your book out loud. Because if you're like me, I just like don't talk about my book out loud. It's all in here all the time.
All the time.
So yeah.
Do you guys ever watch TV and you're like, what did I just watch for the past 30 minutes? All I've been doing is thinking about my book.
I do that while driving, which I'm sure is like not the safest thing to do. I like know my city so well that I can get anywhere really without like worrying about the directions. So I'm just like on autopilot. I'm a very good driver, but like, half the time it'll be like, especially on long highway, like stretches, I'll just be like, oh yeah, okay, so like what if, and then I realize like, oh my gosh, I've been paying attention, but I need to really pay attention now.
Yeah.
And then right before bed, that's always my worst time, because I'm like,
oh, I hate that. Yeah.
Hold on. Then I gotta bust out my notebook.
Get out the notes app.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh god, I know screen time's not good, but anyway.
Yeah, that blinding blue light right before you're trying to go to sleep.
I have a friend. Shout out to Max. I'm shouting people out this episode, but he turns his phone to grayscale when he uses it. It's like you can
that's an interesting idea.
Option.
Yeah, you can. It's if you literally just type in color, it's a toggle that you can turn off and on, and then choose which color you want the primary to be. And he just puts it to gray, and he's like, I don't really want to look at my phone because it's just gray. And I'm like,
yeah, that's really smart. I'm gonna have to do that right after this episode. Because I do have like night mode set for like a certain time frame.
I do
but,
too.
Me too.
The grayscale might be even better.
Yeah. Would recommend, or like red, you can turn it to red, which is like what I do at night, because red is better for your eyes, so it's like not as bad. But anyway,
good tricks.
Yeah. Speaking of tricks, what kind of tools do you use as a writer? I know we've kind of touched a lot on marketing, but you can include tools in there. But like, what are you writing with? What have you found helped, if anything, with the process and then the post finish process?
Okay, so I know that there's a lot of different types of writing software. I stick to Google Docs for a few reasons. The first is that it makes it available, my work available anywhere, so I can be on any laptop. There's an offline mode. It's easy to sync. I just need to be able to access my work easily, so I can just kind of like jump right in at any time. I also love that Google Docs has a really easy like suggest and comment feature, so that it makes it easy to get feedback. And then every single draft, I like changing the font as well. For me, that helps like refresh the story in my head. Other than that, like that is my only tool, frankly. Like I don't need to pay for Scrivener, although I know it can be helpful for other people to like visualize. But like, for example, in the sequel of this book, my characters are going to this amusement park in Connecticut that I base off of a real amusement park. It's sort of like a Six Flags. And so I just look up Google Images. I have my split screen Google Images here so I can like have reference photos, Google Docs here, and I'm good to go. I will, like when I'm outlining, I'll do some handwriting in a journal just because I think like that helps me slow down and process how the plot needs to go better if I'm writing slowly. But yeah, I don't use any other like I don't use Pinterest or anything like that or Mirage.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like it helps you make like mood boards, like different like and plot grids, I think.
Interesting.
Gotcha.
So yeah. But I find I just like the more organic it can be for me, the easier it is.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also the simple, just Google Docs.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm a Scrivener bitch.
Are you?
I love Scrivener so much. But I also totally understand why people don't use it. I do a lot of my crafting and construction like by hand. So like I have a big notebook that I use, and I have like a big whiteboard and stuff like that. So by the time I
love that.
Yeah, by the time I actually get to Scrivener, I just like the organization of it all. I can have like, and Google does that now. So before Google Docs had the option, I went to Scrivener because I could use that option. And now that Google has it, I'm like, oh, this is obviously a much nicer, like cheaper way for people to do this. But yeah, I like Scrivener can do like your outline side by side with your doc, and then what I like is it can go full screen mode and typewriter mode, so the whole screen's blacked out with just what you're writing, and it scrolls as you type. And for someone who gets very easily distracted, it is a boon for me. So but yeah, I totally Scrivener. Would I say to buy it unless you're like a professional writer? No, I just did it because I was like, I needed a few things to help my process along. But
I had the 30-day free trial, and then I said I was just not utilizing it the way I needed to.
Yeah.
So back to Google Docs we went.
Google Docs, tried and true. I love it.
I would love to have like really organized notes and utilize all the features that Scrivener has, but I feel like unfortunately I just thrive with the messy notes files. And
listen, I'm right there with you. I love the messy notes. I always have just like a big clump. Like I have my doc up here, and then I have the next 3 pages are just like notes. And I'll never use my notes, but I have them when I need them.
Yeah, I'm that way with my handwritten stuff. I've got sticky notes on top of like the pages. I have to like to get any sense of where I'm at. I have to like flip things over. I have note cards. I have all that. But then I it's nice because I translate it to Scrivener, and then it just feels much more organized. And when I'm kind of we've talked about this on the pod before, but I don't know, like the house needs to be clean, dinner has to be finished, like everything has to be kind of like put away before I feel like I can write. And so when I get to Scrivener and everything's kind of organized, I feel much more zen in my brain. So
yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. Do you want to go next, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm looking at the ones we didn't do yet, so I'm trying to prioritize. Okay, so this is one of our favorite ones to ask because we get wildly different answers from everybody. We like to ask, what is the best writing advice you've ever received and the worst writing advice you've ever received?
Okay.
So everyone's got a different answer, so I'm excited to hear
Okay.
yours.
I thought about this on my way home from the gym this morning, and it came to me, and I was like, bad writing advice. Have I heard that? Duh. Yes, I have. And I want to see y'all's reaction because like show don't tell is like was almost ruined me as a writer. Because for me, I just did not understand. So you think show don't tell is great advice, right? She was angry. No, say like her cheeks flamed red. She gritted her teeth. Like that's great. Love that. Where I took it overboard and like it made me lose interiority. So interiority I think is so important to a protagonist if you're writing from a first person point of view, and understanding like why they are making decisions, how they feel about certain things. And I was losing that to just try to show how she felt. But we don't even operate that way as humans, right? We think about why did he do this? Like that really hurt my feelings that he punched my sister in the face. And like we reflect on things, and so I was losing all of that reflection because I was just thinking so hard, like show. And then I sound like a broken record, but I think the best advice is you can't edit from an empty page or something like that, where it's like it has to exist before it is good. So yeah.
How do you feel about the show don't tell, Brandon? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's one of those things that it's so vague that you can take it to either extreme, and obviously if you take it too far, like it sounds like Gigi, you maybe took really literally in the past, and it can become restrictive. I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up with that one, because I do think it's good advice. It just really depends on your execution of said advice. So yeah, that's I don't really have a lot else to say on it. Just don't take it too literally. Like don't take it too far where you don't think you can ever tell at all. Like that's still a tool available to you as a writer. Just a lot of times, more often than not, especially I feel like in for beginner writers, we do make the mistake of telling versus showing, where showing would be more effective.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I overarchingly just agree with Gigi too. I think where I tend to sometimes take that advice to heart is like with the white room kind of syndrome. It's or like family history, or like where there's exposition. I think exposition is important, right? Like you need to be able to just like block text some stuff and just like explain things. You can't have a conversation between characters about every little like family history or whatever. But I think what beginner writers forget to do, and that's when I'm usually like, oh yeah, like this is where you would show and not tell, is like what can you reveal via action or via conversation that you might normally just go right to, well, she was feeling this way because of this. Well, have that be a conversation instead. But I totally agree with you. I think like not everything. I struggle with like overly flowery language and just like going on and on and on. So that's when I have to stop and be like, sometimes you can just tell them this. Like you don't have to have like this long, page long explanation, conversation, whatever. So I do agree with you, but I also agree with Brandon that like it is like a use by use case. I think for beginner writers, it's like, okay, if you're having a scene and it's a lot of she said's, like if you control find and if you see said a lot or whatever, that's when you're like, okay, where else can I don't know, bolster this? I don't know if that makes sense, but yes, I'm kind of in the middle, I think. I'm just like, oh, I like that advice, but yes, it can trap you for sure, where you're like, oh, I just want to be able to say this. And it's like, okay, well, just say it. Just do that.
Yeah. I think
like the way you put that.
Thanks.
Sorry.
No, that was all I had to say. You were saying.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. No, I was just gonna say I think the problem with writing advice that people run into is a lot of it gets framed as like absolutes when I feel like there's very few absolutes in writing. Another one that comes to mind that people take too literally, I think, is like the don't use adverbs one. Like it's not that adverbs aren't
no
they're
lees.
not,
No
yeah,
lees.
they can like it's a part of language that you're allowed to use as a writer. It's just the reason that piece of advice is there is because, especially as a beginner writer, you can become overly dependent on using adverbs instead of explaining things better, like kind of like the show don't tell thing.
Yeah.
No, that was one of your biggest pieces of feedback for the anthology short story for me, and it has really helped me since then. Just be like, is there any other way you can say this that's like a little bit more, not just complex, but like a little bit more evocative or, whatever. Sometimes no, sometimes
sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah, but I'm rereading 1984, and there are
oh my god, I love 1984.
So I forgot how it's just like block text, like it's just there's really nothing, like there's no in whatever, but so many adverbs, and it was like such a relief to reread and just be like, oh yeah, even the greats, they didn't follow today's modern adverbs. But anyway, it's good to balance everything out correctly.
I love that, like reading a classic or something and being like, oh, they did this. Like you don't box yourself in with all these writing rules. Like just take it as an offering, if you will. I don't know. I teach yoga, and so I always think of like, I'm offering you a pose to do. Like, I love that. You can choose to take it, but you don't, like, if your body says no, then don't do it. It's the same thing with writing. Like, consider this. It doesn't mean it's the right answer, but just think about it. Consider it.
No, for sure.
Do you guys mind if I let my little dog in? She really wants to come in.
No, it's
totally fine.
The pups are recurring guest.
Yeah, exactly.
She is.
Oh my gosh.
She really.
Hello.
She like has to be near me.
Oh my
we gotta know the name though. That's the rule.
So that's Rosie.
Rosie.
Okay. Rosie.
Mm-hmm.
Such a
She's
sweetie.
a good girl. Sometimes.
Yeah, I feel the same about mine. And she was just chewing on her bone earlier, and I had to message my partner and be like, "Can you please come get her? Because this is really annoying." All right, I think we're close to wrapping up. We just have a couple more questions.
Okay.
I think we mentioned negative feedback earlier in the episode, but talk to us how you feel about it. How do you handle it? Do you read feedback? Like, do you read reviews? What's your process with that kind of stuff?
Okay. So I'm like, Gigi, you're not allowed to read reviews every single day of my life. Refresh Goodreads. Do I have a new review?
Yes.
Do I have a new... it's sick. It's actually sick. So like, it's crazy. The roller coaster, you can get a 5-star review and it makes you feel like I am the greatest writer of all time. I'm on top of the world. And then you get a negative. I've gotten like several 3 stars. I got 1 2-star, and that 2-star sent me spiraling.
Yeah.
It hurts. And I think it's easier said than done, like that, to say you have thick skin. I'm able to just compartmentalize it and really like think critically now that art, like I said, art is art, and people are going to love and hate it. My friends, I was texting my writer friends in a group chat, and saying like, I got my first like terrible review. I feel so bad. Like, what was all of this for nothing? Am I a terrible writer? Blah, blah, blah. My friend sent me back a screenshot of a 1-star review of the Hunger Games. And she was like, hello.
Yeah,
like somebody saying like Katniss is the worst protagonist ever. And that was like, oh, right. Art is subjective. Like, I get that. I get it now. Okay. And then, this is silly. So obviously, big fan of Twilight. love all the books. We forced one of my friends to read it. She had never read it before, and so she read it, gave it a 1-star review. So we were texting in the group chat, guys, look, this girl just gave Twilight a 1-star review, and this is like the greatest book of all time. What are you doing? So I just think you have to remember that your book is going to be somebody's favorite cup of tea. Somebody else is going to only like coffee. Like, it is what it is. So, have I been able to stop refreshing Goodreads? No. But do I understand that it's okay to get positive and negative feedback? Yes. That's where I've landed.
That.
Yeah, it's always a good mindset to have.
It is. Because you're curious. I mean, I'm always curious too when I'm like, oh, how will I handle that whenever that becomes like a thing? But yeah, it's good to remind us, like, this can also be fodder of, some people are like, well, if I read the negative reviews and I learn what I can improve upon, like what are the things that are not effective, but then you rely too heavily on strangers' opinions and it's kind of a spiral from there. But everyone has their own way of handling it. So.
Well, I'm going to give you the honor, Ash, of asking our favorite question at the end. I do want to ask just one thing real quick, though, Gigi. Sure. We know The Split is your debut. It sounds like there's a sequel coming. What else can readers expect to see from you in the near future?
Ooh, that's really exciting. Okay. So the sequel, I'm hoping to get that out there as soon as I can without compromising quality. And then I am also pretty far into a Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones inspired dual POV book, which I'm really excited about. It's I usually write dystopian, but it has a dystopian vibe, but it's definitely more fantasy. So that'll come after the sequel, probably pretty closely after, because I'm far into that one as well. And then that's going to turn into a series, and hopefully I'll just keep writing and writing and writing, because it's really fun and I love to do it.
Very cool. You mentioned a lot of my favorites there, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that one for sure.
Sounds like right up my alley.
I know my audience. It's me. I'm the audience. Yeah.
A lot of overlapping interests. Yes. All right. So we tend to ask everyone on the podcast, if there was one book you could read again for the first time, what would it be?
Oh man, wait a second. I have an answer to this. And I'm not allowed to say Harry Potter, so stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my answer. Okay. Bridge to Terabithia.
Oh,
because
wow.
I was in elementary school. I think it was required reading or summer reading or something. And I have this memory of sitting in my mom's car, and I just was bawling. It was like the first book that ever made me cry. My mom's like, is she okay? I'm just like, oh,
emotional damage. Oh, God.
But like, other than the emotional damage, what a great book that I would truly love to read again.
Yeah, that's a good one. Damn. Yeah. Talk about, I think that'll make you cry for sure. Yeah.
I did not have that experience, but it sounds like I may have aged out of the target audience range for this book.
Or maybe you just don't have a soul.
Yeah. I think we're all about the same age, so I think you would be around the same age, but maybe it just didn't get introduced to you. I know that movie came out, but in terms of books, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't read it in childhood, so I think if I go back to it now, I might not get the same experience that you guys had.
I don't know. That's it's a tearjerker.
Is it pretty timeless?
Oh, yeah. It's just sad. It's just sad. It's like
it's so sad.
I read grimdark for fun, so
that's true. You have a higher threshold now. There's something about like childhood loss, like the loss of innocence in like a very natural way. Like it's not like a grimdark kind of a thing. It is just like tragically nostalgic and like heart-wrenching in the most realistic sense. So
I do have to ask, because you mentioned the adaptation. I do remember seeing a trailer for it when I was younger. Is the adaptation any good, or is that a far away?
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Josh Hutcherson, so hello.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. It's not like, of course, like with any adaptation, it is just like, it is an adaptation, but I mean, yeah, you cry. At least I do anytime it comes up. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Maybe I'll check out either the book or the film. I just
movie
sometimes
night.
The adaptations can be
You watch that, so I'll watch 28 Days Later.
There we go.
And then we'll all regroup after Project Hail Mary.
There we go. I like that. I speaking of movies that made you cry, I've been telling everybody this will be my last just little blip, but I watched Hamnet a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Please, no one needs to watch this movie. No one needs to watch it. No one needs to watch it. I sobbed like a baby. I don't know. It was great. I gave it 4.5 stars on Letterboxd, but my review was like the worst movie I've ever seen. It was just like so tragically horrid that I was like the entire time. So anyway, it was really good. You actually should watch it, but just be prepared of the emotional damage.
I was gonna say I'm getting mixed signals. Do I watch this one?
You should. It's a good film. It's based off of a book from I think 2020 of the same kind of concept, but the acting in it is really just like what gets it. I'm blanking on her name, but the woman who plays like the love interest just like emotes like nobody I've seen emote before. And there's one scene where she like guttural wails, and you just are like, it's pretty crazy in terms. If she doesn't win the Oscars next year, I don't know. There's something up with that. But anyway, very good movie. Just if you have a tender heart, beware.
Consider me warned.
All right. Well, yeah, that's gonna be it for our questions, Gigi. Before we sign off, is there anything we didn't touch on that you want to share with the audience?
You guys are awesome. This has been like the most fun interview. Really interesting conversation.
Glad you had fun.
Thank you.
You're really gracious. So yeah, nothing else I want to share other than
go buy Split.
Buy my book.
Yes. We didn't really talk about it, but we have just a couple more minutes. Sorry, Brandon. Again, I keep interrupting you today because I'm firing on all cylinders. But I think the other character, it's like an anarchist, right? Like, or did I read the blurb incorrectly? Maybe I did.
Like, there's two sides.
Yeah.
There's like one side which is like, we are splitting all of our rations equally, kind of thing, and then the other side is like anarchy.
Okay.
Essentially.
Talk to me about that, because we often, like in zombies, and zombies, everyone for themselves, and then you have like the organized societies, and then you have like the crazy. Were you inspired by anything like currently happening nowadays to like bring up the other perspective, or was it just to show like the divides and like what can happen in a kind of post-apocalyptic way?
I just wanted to explore the idea of different ways of thinking and different ways of how, let's say, like a mini government or mini society could be set up, and to not showcase, but again, like explore the gray areas of like rationing everything could be really good in certain situations. If like X scenarios, if there's like a certain person in power, or if somebody else comes in power and like abuse it, like how does that affect all of the people below? And then could anarchy essentially, could it work in certain circumstances? Like everybody's fending for themselves. So I just wanted to see kind of what that looked like in my viewpoint. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm excited to read it. It was like my last minute thing. I was like, oh wait, let me ask her about this. So appreciate you answering on a time crunch. There's just a few minutes left.
Yeah. And just a reminder for everybody, the Split is available March 3rd, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, March 3rd.
But they can definitely go pre-order now if they want, right?
They can.
Awesome.
We'll make sure to share.
Yeah, we'll leave that link in the description for everybody. Thank you again so much, Gigi, for the awesome interview and all your wonderful insights into marketing and the publishing process. And I think that's going to do it. Ash, you have anything to say?
No, this was a great time, and we'll have you on for the sequel for sure, and we'll talk about if anything's changed.
I would love that so much. Thank you.
It was really nice meeting you and having you on, Gigi. Appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your time.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right. We'll see ya.